Chosen one, if you are listening to this right now, it is not by chance. You may feel as though life has led you into unfamiliar territory, a place where answers feel delayed and certainty feels distant. This season may not look like what you prayed for, and it may not feel like the promise you believed God spoke over your life. Yet this very place you are standing in, the place of pressure and uncertainty, is not abandonment. It is preparation. Many who are called to carry purpose are first led through seasons where comfort is stripped away, not to harm them, but to reveal what truly sustains them. What you are facing is not proof that you missed God. It is often proof that God is deeply involved. The wilderness is rarely announced. It does not arrive with warning signs or gentle explanations. One day, life seems stable, and the next day, familiar support systems fall away. A job disappears, relationships fracture, plans collapse, and prayers appear unanswered. The natural response is to question everything: your faith, your worth, your direction. Yet throughout history, those marked for impact often encountered these seasons before stepping into fulfillment. God has a way of using empty places to speak clearly, because distractions lose their power when survival itself becomes the focus. In these moments, faith is no longer theoretical. It becomes necessary. Long ago, an entire community found themselves in a dry land after being delivered from oppression. They were free, yet uncomfortable. Free, yet uncertain. They questioned whether freedom was worth the hardship. What they did not realize was that dependence was being rewired within them. They had been used to systems providing for them, even if those systems were harsh. Now they were being taught to rely daily on divine care. Each day, provision arrived in a way that required trust, not storage, not control, just obedience and gratitude. The lesson was not only about food, it was about relationship. Chosen one, the wilderness exposes what we lean on. When resources are abundant, faith can quietly share space with self-reliance. But when options shrink, the heart reveals its true posture. This is why the wilderness feels uncomfortable. It confronts habits we didn't realize we had. It challenges expectations we placed on God without knowing it. Many want the promise without the process, but strength that lasts is never rushed. What God builds in hidden seasons sustains public victories. This is also where inner battles intensify. When outer noise reduces, inner voices grow louder. Doubt begins to question identity. Fear begins to rewrite the future. Discouragement suggests that nothing will change. These thoughts do not appear randomly. When purpose is close, resistance often increases. Even the Son of God faced intense pressure during a season of fasting and isolation. Hunger was used as leverage. Identity was questioned. Shortcuts were offered. Yet victory came through alignment with truth, not through escape from discomfort. The wilderness did not weaken him. It revealed his authority. Many watching this are experiencing pressure in the mind, thoughts that say you are behind, forgotten, or disqualified. But hear this clearly. Isolation does not mean invisibility to God. Some of the most powerful encounters recorded happened away from crowds, away from applause, away from familiarity. When distractions fade, clarity grows. When comfort fades, conviction strengthens. What feels like delay is often alignment taking place beneath the surface. Provision in these seasons rarely looks dramatic. It often arrives quietly. A conversation that restores hope, strength to get through one more day, unexpected help at the exact moment it's needed, peace that does not match circumstances. These are not small things. They are signs of care. The mistake many make is expecting tomorrow's supply today. Divine wisdom often releases what is needed for the present moment only. This keeps the heart anchored in daily trust rather than anxious projection. Chosen one, gratitude sharpens vision. When the heart acknowledges what is already present, it becomes easier to recognize divine fingerprints. Complaints dull awareness, but thankfulness opens perception. The wilderness teaches this lesson gently to some and firmly to others, but the goal remains the same: intimacy over independence, trust over control. If this message is resonating with you, take a moment right now and acknowledge where you are without shame. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are not faithless for asking questions. You are human, and you are being shaped. This channel exists to remind you that growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels rewarding. If you sense that this message is speaking directly to your journey, let that be your signal to engage. Support the message so others walking similar paths can find encouragement too. As we continue, we will go deeper into how these seasons refine identity, how inner strength is forged, and how purpose becomes clearer through pressure. The wilderness does not last forever, but what it produces can carry you for a lifetime. In these seasons of pressure, something profound begins to happen beneath the surface. While it may feel like nothing is moving, inwardly there is deep adjustment taking place. The wilderness has a way of stripping away false identities and replacing them with truth. Titles lose their grip, applause fades, comparison weakens. What remains is the core of who you are when nothing external is validating you. This is where clarity is formed. Many discover their real calling not when doors are wide open, but when options are limited, and the only voice left to listen to is God's. Throughout history, those who carried influence were often shaped long before they were seen. A shepherd spent years tending sheep in isolation before leading a nation. A young man learned loyalty and restraint while running from danger before ascending to leadership. These hidden years were not wasted time. They were years of learning discernment, patience, and humility. The wilderness teaches restraint. It teaches timing. It teaches when to move and when to stay still. These lessons cannot be rushed because character formed slowly lasts longer. One of the greatest challenges in the wilderness is resisting the urge to create quick solutions. When discomfort stretches on, the temptation is to force outcomes, to compromise values, or to settle for substitutes that look like relief but carry long-term cost. This is why discernment becomes critical. Not every opportunity is a doorway forward. Some are distractions designed to pull you off course. The wilderness sharpens your ability to recognize alignment. It trains you to wait for peace, not pressure, before acting. Many people misunderstand refinement. They assume it means punishment or rejection. In truth, refinement is evidence of value. Nothing worthless is refined. Only what carries purpose is processed. Pressure reveals weaknesses, but it also reveals strength that was dormant. Faith matures here. Prayer becomes less about asking and more about listening. Trust becomes less emotional and more grounded. You begin to recognize God's presence not just in answered requests, but in sustained grace. Provision during these seasons often teaches humility. Accepting help becomes necessary. Pride loosens its grip. You realize that needing support does not diminish strength, it deepens connection. In ancient times, provision arrived through unexpected channels, reminding people that God is not limited by familiar systems. In the same way, help may come through conversations you didn't plan, ideas you didn't consider, or doors you didn't knock on. Staying open matters. Staying teachable matters. There is also an inner authority that begins to rise. When you have survived uncertainty, fear loses its voice. When you have watched God sustain you with little, Abundance no longer controls you. This is why those who emerge from wilderness seasons often carry quiet confidence. They are not easily shaken. They know what it feels like to be held when nothing else is stable. That knowledge cannot be taught. It must be lived. For many watching, dreams feel distant right now. Visions once clear may seem blurred. But dreams planted by God are not erased by delay. They are protected. Sometimes growth must happen in the dreamer before the dream can be trusted into their hands. This is why waiting seasons are often character seasons. The vision stays alive, but it matures alongside you. Speaking life over your future, even when circumstances disagree, is an act of faith that strengthens endurance. Daily practices become anchors here. Quiet moments of reflection, writing down small breakthroughs, acknowledging strength where weakness once dominated. These habits may seem simple, but they compound over time. Small acts of obedience build spiritual momentum. What feels insignificant today may be the foundation of tomorrow's testimony. Community also matters deeply in these seasons. Isolation can distort perception. Having even one or two people who can speak truth, remind you of who you are, and walk with you prevents discouragement from taking root. Support does not mean dependence, it means shared strength. Even in dry places, connection creates resilience. If you are still here, still listening, it is because something within you knows this message is for you. This is not entertainment, this is alignment. Let this moment remind you that you are not walking blindly. There is intention over your steps, even when the path feels unclear. Engage with this message, not just outwardly, but inwardly. Let it confirm what God has been whispering to your spirit. What comes next is understanding how to move forward without rushing, how to prepare for what lies ahead, and how to exit these seasons with strength rather than scars. The journey does not end here, it evolves. As the wilderness season begins to loosen its grip, something shifts quietly within. It may not happen all at once, and it may not look dramatic, but there is a growing sense of steadiness. Fear no longer dominates your thoughts the way it once did. The questions that used to exhaust you lose their power. You begin to recognize that strength has been forming all along. What once felt unbearable now feels survivable, and what once felt confusing begins to make sense. This is often how transition begins, not with noise, but with clarity. Leaving the wilderness does not mean you forget what it taught you. In fact, those lessons become your greatest advantage. You carry discernment into new spaces. You move with wisdom rather than haste. You recognize when to act and when to wait. This is why those who have walked through difficulty with God often lead with compassion and authority. They are not easily impressed, and they are not easily shaken. Their confidence is not rooted in circumstance, but in experience. Many expect the next season to immediately feel easier, but growth does not erase responsibility. What changes is capacity. You can now carry more without breaking. You can handle uncertainty without panic. You can receive abundance without losing humility. This balance is one of the greatest outcomes of a well-navigated wilderness. It prepares you to steward blessings rather than be overwhelmed by them. There is also a renewed sense of purpose that emerges. What once felt like random pain now connects into a larger picture. You begin to see how your story can strengthen others, how your endurance can inspire hope, how your journey can become guidance for someone still searching for direction. This is how transformation multiplies. What was meant to discourage you becomes a source of encouragement for many. Practical faith becomes essential here. Trust is no longer passive, it is active. You speak life over your future, even when results are still unfolding. You give thanks, not because everything is perfect, but because you recognize progress. You remain consistent in prayer, not out of desperation, but out of relationship. These habits anchor you as you step into what's next. Dreams also resurface with greater clarity. They may look different than before, refined and grounded, but they are stronger. You understand now that dreams are not just destinations, they are assignments. They require discipline, patience, and alignment. What you learned in scarcity teaches you how to handle increase. What you learned in silence teaches you how to speak with impact. Community continues to matter as you move forward. Walking with others who understand faith-based growth keeps you accountable and encouraged. Sharing experiences creates connection. Supporting one another strengthens resilience. No one is meant to walk alone, especially those carrying purpose. Staying connected ensures that growth continues beyond one season. If you are sensing a shift within you right now, honor it. Do not rush it, and do not dismiss it. Pay attention to peace. Pay attention to clarity. These are often signals that transition is near. What lies ahead may still require effort, but you are no longer the same person who entered the wilderness. You are equipped. You are strengthened. You are prepared. Chosen one, your journey matters. Your endurance matters. Your faith matters. What you survived did not disqualify you, it refined you. What delayed you did not destroy you, it aligned you. And what challenged you did not weaken you, it strengthened you. The path ahead holds purpose, and you are ready to walk it. If this message has spoken to your heart, let it be more than a moment. Engage with it. Share it with someone who may be navigating their own season of uncertainty. Become part of a community committed to growth, faith, and purpose. Stay connected here, where encouragement meets truth and strength is built through understanding. Declare your expectation boldly. Speak life over your future. Continue trusting even when results unfold gradually. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are moving forward with intention, guided by wisdom and strengthened by experience. Your journey continues, and what lies ahead carries meaning.